Elizabeth, thanks so much for joining us this evening.
It's fine.
Your daughter, Shanah, 14 years old, Williams syndrome, that must be quite an ordeal to live with. How have you dealt with some of the issues facing some of the problems that you've had?
Well, it's been challenging, but I've just always had faith that I could support her and help her to learn and develop her full potential.
We were talking earlier about some of the disabilities that she faces. It's both a cognitive thing and a physical thing, if I understand that correctly.
Yes, she's gone through quite a bit of pain, so therefore not sleeping at night and difficulty in concentrating during the day, and yes, the cognitive disability as well.
Now, dealing with these issues has led you down the path of searching or researching, I should say. And a couple of resources have been helpful, both the ABC and a book by Dr. Norman Doidge. How have those led you to searching even further?
Well, after reading Norman Doidge's book, I looked up on the internet and found the Fast ForWord program here in Sydney and contacted them and discussed it with them as to whether or not they thought that it would be helpful for Shanah.
Just coming back to Dr. Norman Doidge's book there, which particular part of his message led you to research a little bit further? There must have been something that captivated you about that book.
I have always believed in the plasticity of the brain, and so it just kind of was nice to have confirmation from a professional that the brain could keep on extending like that.
And the Fast ForWord program, I believe, was actually mentioned in the book, and that's led you to finding the resource here in Sydney?
Yes, that's right.
So it's been about a year now since Shanah has been on the program. How many months was she actually actively doing those exercises for?
She did it for about 6 months, and we had a break over Christmas.
And it was an intensive period, is that right?
Extremely intensive. Because we did it 7 days. We did it more than what we're supposed to do it, but we did it 7 days a week.
So going, I guess, overtime,
Yes.
you must have been seeing some kind of a benefit. Otherwise you probably wouldn't have put in that sort of effort, I suppose.
No, well, it was great because I was able to, I homeschool Shanah, and I was able to leave her with the computer, and I supervised it, and there were times when I did sit with her and help her through it, but a lot of the time she was able to be independent and sit at the computer and work at it, and there's been not a lot of things that I've been able to leave her there and allow her to keep on with it.
Some might say that just another computer program is a little bit, well, how do we know whether that's going to work? How did Shanah actually interact with the computer? Was it a chore for her, or did she kind of get a buzz out of it? How did that work?
I think it kind of went from one extreme to the other at different times, depending on how challenging she found it. But, when she first started it, especially, it was very exciting for her to be able to find something that she could do, and she really enjoyed it and was getting the positive feedback from it.
And some of the physical disabilities that she had at the time weren't interfering with her ability to interface with the program?
No, she was able to. I was actually quite surprised at how fast her little fingers could move on the mouse.
Yeah, right.
When she was really getting it right.
So, I mean, the problems are obviously fairly complex, and we don't have a solution that has necessarily fixed them all, but we're talking today because you have seen progress. Yes. What specific areas of progress have you noticed?
Well, her speech therapist was very pleased with her, more ease with her language and her ability to converse. She doesn't find that particularly easy, and so that's why we did start with a very early language, because she often has difficulty in accessing words, and so I wanted to go right back and work with the basic sounds.
So it wasn't a case where you just put the child in front of a computer and then hope for the best. You were actually working with a speech professional.
Yes, and the results that we used to get at the end of the week were terrific. I would email them to the speech therapist, and she would go over what areas she felt that she could support us in with that as well.
And did you get any specific feedback from the speech therapist about the actual program? Was there any interaction there, or was it just an observation that the therapist was making in general?
No, she was happy with the program and what we were doing. Yes.
Right. So, looking forward now, she's not doing the program anymore. Would you go back to the program, or is that a time now that has elapsed? And
yes, I told them if they ever came up with a maths program, they were to let me know. And the next program was too difficult for her to go with. But if they came up with another program that kind of came in just from the same level that she was at, yes, I would work on another program.
So it's been quite a journey for you. Looking forward into the future, I guess other people watching our discussion today would be asking similar questions maybe to the ones that you were asking before you started. A couple of very simple ones. Has it been worth it?
Yes. Yes, don't give up on your child.
And would you actively or openly recommend this kind of intervention to other people who had this problem or similar problems?
Yes, I have recommended it to other people, and as a result they've gone ahead with it and been really happy with it.
Elizabeth, it's a fantastic story. Thanks so much for your time.
That's fine. Thanks.